Okay, welcome back to Miss Curtis's art class. Today we are going to have a lot of fun making a Jen Stark inspired piece of artwork, and at the end of this project we are going to put these together collaboratively with our classmates, and we are going to make one large mural. So Jen Stark is a famous artist, is a contemporary artist. She was born in 1983. She's a multimedia American artist who lives and works out of Los Angeles, California. Stark is best known for creating optical art using psychedelic colors and patterns and drips that mimic intricate motifs found in nature. So you can see some of her work right here on the screen, and it's very, very bright. And then she also has these other drips that have the white and the black, which contrast each other. So we're going to talk a little bit about color theory today in our project, and you're going to get the chance to look at the color wheel and decide how you want to mix your paint colors and incorporate those into your drips. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we're gonna do is make a large drip, and I advise you use a pencil when you're doing this so that you can erase it if you want to go back and change it. And then at the end, we'll use the permanent marker to go over it once you really like what you have. So I'm going to be showing you using the permanent marker so you can see it nice and clear on the screen. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is work on the drip, and like I said, I am going to use this permanent marker, but to show you with the pencil, which is what I would like you to use first, is I want you to take your time drawing this drip. Today I'm going to let you choose. Do you want your paper to be in the landscape view, or do you want to turn it and have a longer drip, which would be in the portrait view? Okay, so I'm going to put some examples of drips on the screen so that you can make your decision, and you can style it any which way that you'd like. I would recommend the first drip have a little bit more blank space here, and then after that you kind of want to flow them together, and sometimes Jen Stark spaces some of the lines apart. So I'm going to start now with the first drip, and I'm going to, like I said, use the permanent marker so you can see it nice and clear. However, you'll be using pencil. Okay, so I'm going to start right here, and I am going to simply come down and make a curving looking line. Remember, we want this to look like it's a drip that would be found in nature, so we're using an organic looking line. I'm going to come up and curve between each one, so you don't want sharp lines. Notice I'm taking my time. And then right up to the top again. And for this project, we are not making a frame. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some lines that are a little bit closer, and I'm just going to kind of go right around this drip right here and follow it. So I'm going to try and keep the spacing even. So I'm going to start right here. Remember, we're going to paint in between each of these, so you don't want them too close. I would say this is about a good amount. And then some of the other lines, you can make them even less apart, or more apart. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and make this one a little bit further apart. And these are really fun. Like I said, you can make your drip however you want to style it. Okay, and I'm going to continue this, and I am going to maybe even make like a little second drip on the right side here. And I'll also show you a sped up version of a drip that is in this positioned paper. Okay, so I'm going to speed this up for you, show you how this finishes, and then I want you to work on your drip. All right, so there I have my first drip, and again, I put the paper in the landscape view. So now let's switch it, and I will show you how I'm going to do a drip the long way. Okay, so now that we have our drips, all right, and overall I want you to make 2 of them today because one of them we're gonna do white and black, and the other one we are going to have a multicolor, okay, just like how Jen Stark did it. So I'll start with this one right here. Now with your pencil, I want you to use the color wheel to decide how you would like to paint these in. So this is going to be super fun when we kind of go to mix our colors. So if you look at the color wheel right here, we've got red, and we have yellow, and we have blue. Those are our primary colors, and those ones make a triangle. They're opposite each other on the color wheel. And then the ones in between, if you take red and you take yellow and you mix them together, you get a secondary color, and that is orange, okay? If you take blue and you take yellow, you will get green as a secondary color. So each color from the primaries you can mix in some capacity and make the other colors on the color wheel, and then the other ones are called tertiary colors. So today, I would like you to decide how you would like your colors to look. So if you just want red, one of them to be red, you're just going to write a letter right here. We want them at the top right here. So let's say this one I want it to be red. I'm going to put R, or you can write red, okay? And then obviously we have, we said that if we mix red and yellow, we would have orange. So maybe you want this one to be orange, so you're going to mix some red and yellow to make orange. Or if you already have orange here, you can use the orange. Now, there are colors between red and orange. There's red-orange, okay? So you could maybe write R-O, red-orange, or you could write out red-orange. So maybe you want to mix red with orange and make a orangier looking red. Okay, so that's a fun way that we can use the color wheel today to kind of mix our colors. Either way, you want to really use the bright colors that Jen Starks use, and we want to kind of map out how we want ours to look before you start just painting them random colors, because each drip right here, right, is going to be a different color. So use your pencil, and I want you to write them out, and then go ahead and we will get started on painting these in. So I'm going to decide how I'm going to paint these in. I will make this one right here green. So I'm going to write out green. And then right here, I think I will do blue. Here I'm going to mix blue-green. So blue-green, and write lightly so that, you know, you can paint over it or erase it. Here we'll do purple, red, red-orange. I'm going to do yellow on this last one, so I put a Y there. Okay, so now I've got my color scheme. I think this will look pretty cool. So green, blue, blue-green, violet or purple, red, red-orange, and yellow. All right, so you can use watercolors for this project, or you can use tempera or acrylic paint. So I'm going to show you kind of how to use both today. And if you are mixing colors here, all I would like you to do, you can use this part of your palette, and you can start to just kind of take some of the color and put it in, and then obviously rinse your brush when you're grabbing more from a different color and put that in. You can mix right here onto your palette. And so for example, if you want it to be red-orange, you want to bring some red over with your brush. And then you can, right, and then rinse your, before you go into orange, and then bring in some orange and mix it around and see what you get. If you like the way that looks, it's a nice reddish orange, you can bring that in and start painting it. So you want to very carefully pull your brush using the tip of your brush and taking your time to make it look really nice. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so now here's the fun part. We're going to add some color here to our our drips. So I'm going to show you, like I said, how we're going to use the watercolor and how we're going to use the tempera or acrylic. Watercolor, you need water to activate that paint. So what I'm going to do is just simply take some water with my brush and bring it over. Remember, 1, 2, 3 drops, and then swish your brush in there and you'll be able to activate that paint. So you can see already that that's what I'm starting to do. And I already have some green on the tip here. And then I'll show you how to use the other colors. Maybe I'll add one more drip just to make it a little watery, a little bit more. So my first area here, this whole section is going to be green. So I'm going to hold my paper nice and tight, and I am going to pull my brush. I'm going to use the tip to go around the areas of the edge, right? And I'm going to take my time to do that. I might just want to outline that first so that I can paint the bigger areas a little easier. So I'm going to go around. Okay, and remember, you want to spread that paint out. You don't want like a ton of water, like leaving a big pool of the watercolor paint on there. You really want to kind of spread that out. All right, so now I'm going back here. I'm using the tip, going right up to this edge, and pulling my brush, use the tip. And then again, when I get to wider areas, I can really just kind of pull my brush and move that paint around nice and evenly. Try and paint in one direction. You don't want to be like going all crazy. You want to see your brush strokes look nice and neat and going in one direction. Okay, so I am going to speed up this section using the watercolors, and then I'll show you how to mix some watercolors, and then we'll move on to the acrylic and the tempera. All right, so there we finished this section. This is green. Okay, so I'm going to rinse my brush. Remember, you gotta wash your brush really good, scrub the bottom of the container, and then pull it and wipe it on the edge of the cup, and then dab it on the paper towel. It looks clear, so I am good to go to the next color. So the next one I'm going to show you is going to be red orange. So looking at the color wheel, I decided to choose red orange. So I am going to show you how you can use watercolors to kind of mix some colors. So this is a little trickier because we do need to go and rinse our brush after. So I'm going to add some water to the red. A few drops is good. Okay, swish my brush around, and on this section right here, I'm going to add some red. Okay, so I'm just bringing some paint over, and you might need to mix this. Hopefully you'll have enough, but you might need to mix more color as you go. Okay, so I've got some red. I'm gonna wash my brush. Scrub the bottom. Okay, let's see, looks good to go. Add some water to the orange. And I'm sure you can guess what I'm gonna do. I am going to bring some orange over here. And then I'm going to mix just a little bit of red with the orange in the palette only. So keep them separate at first. Okay, I'm just gonna bring some red in. So now I'm making a reddish orange. Okay, and I'm going to just kind of see what that looks like on my paper. So here we have a reddish orange. I'm gonna bring a little more red into that. Yep. So this one's going to be red orange. And that's how you can do that with your watercolors. So you want to kind of test it out. You can even use a separate little piece of paper if you want to test it out. Some scrap paper, which you can use to test it before you bring it to the paper. And if you like what you've done, then you can use that. So again, this is red, orange, using watercolors. Okay, so now I just want to show you that you can use acrylics or tempera, which is a little bit thicker. You don't need to add water to this paint. Okay, so I'm just going to use a little bit of blue and I'm going to put it in my palette. All right, and you would simply take your brush, and this color right here, this strip I have, it's going to be just blue. So I would move my brush around in here, and this is a little bit thicker, and again, you don't need to add water, and you're gonna do the same painting techniques where you use the tip of your brush. Again, I'm being very careful to stay within the lines, and I am pulling my brush. So I'm going to paint this whole section blue. Okay, so now to show you how to use the two colors that are acrylic / tempera, and you can make blue-green. So here I put a little bit of green, and I had used blue already straight from the bottle. So green is a little bit lighter of a color. So I'm just gonna start with green and then add a touch of blue because blue is going to overpower that and be darker. And you can always add more as you go. So like, for example, if I feel like, you know, it's still very greenish, then I would just take a little bit, touch more of the blue and add the blue in. So I'll play with mixing this for a little bit, and then I will paint this section right next to blue. So we are working with blue-green, and I can test it again on like a test paper if I want. So it's looking pretty good. So I will show you how this looks. Okay, so that is blue-green. I've showed you how to mix colors using watercolors and then using thicker paint, which would be like acrylic and tempera. So now I am ready to finish my painting, and I am going to just finish the other drips. I'm going to speed this up for you, and I can't wait to see how yours come out. Okay, so that's how I made my Jen Stark inspired drip. And remember, you don't have to do everything in a perfect rainbow order. I kind of tried to mix it up here, so I put some green over here. But using all the different colors is fun. So the last thing that we would do here is we would actually cut the drip out. So just the white paper along this edge right here, we would cut that out and just have the full drip together and then put them together, and it would look really awesome. And then, of course, once you did this one, you could work on your other drip, and instead of using bright colors, we can make every other white and then black, white and then black. So again, I would just activate my black paint over here. Okay. And you can technically you could leave the areas white, or if you had white paint, you can paint them in. So I would do every other. So if I start with this one, and if you need to label them, you absolutely can. I go through and paint this one all the way through black, every other, and finish it up that way. So like I said, I can't wait to see how yours come out, and this should be a fun project.